nation. From O-A-K-L-A to L-B, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. We're coming to you here because there are some breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders have gone out and signed veteran defensive tackle Gerald McCoy. We're breaking this down for you here on the Raiders Report, and earlier today, McCoy, he decided to visit with Las Vegas. So there was already some rumblings going on Twitter and on Instagram that you could potentially see the Raiders go out and get the 6-time Pro Bowler. And remember, he was an All-Pro in 2013. He missed all of last season due to a torn quad. And when I go back and I watch a lot of the tape on him, most recently back in 2019, you can still see that he's got some juice left in the tank. He was rated the number 29th best defensive tackle according to Pro Football Focus with a 72 overall grade in 2019. But what you're going to find here for this team is they wanted a bigger body on the defensive line. And that's exactly what they're going to get in the veteran. 6'4", 300-pound, 32 years of age. But what's really going to be interesting for the Raiders is how McCoy makes this team and how he necessarily fits with the Las Vegas Raiders. But so far, so good. So the Raiders, they posted this on Twitter, and I want everyone down in the comments, throw your twos up because I love that McCoy is already excited to be a Las Vegas Raider. So we're breaking down the news here around McCoy, and if you guys want to stay up to date on everything going on around the Las Vegas Raiders, I guarantee you one thing, you're not going to find another YouTube channel that does what we do. So seriously, if you want free videos, go ahead and hit that big red button that says subscribe underneath this video. We're breaking all the awesome stuff down around training camp. I'm going to be live for every single preseason game, every single regular season game. There's a reason why we got 80,000 subs. There's a reason why we're the #1 most watched Raiders show on YouTube. We're interactive, and we have a freaking awesome time with the nation. So if you're excited for the McCoy signing, if you're excited to be a Las Vegas Raider fan, then go ahead and subscribe to the Raiders Report. All right, so what type of numbers are we looking at over the last 4 seasons for McCoy? 37 tackles. 7 tackles for loss, 5 sacks in 2019. In 2018, 28 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 6 sacks. One of the things and one of the reasons why McCoy is kind of looked at being one of the best players, or at least one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, this is a few years ago, is because not only was he a good run stopper, but he was also able to get after the quarterback here. So what we're getting is not only a veteran, not only a leader on and off the field, you're also going to get somebody where if he is fully 100% healthy and if he's motivated to succeed, he signed a 1-year deal, which means he's going to go out and he's going to try to prove it, and we're going to get a very motivated Gerald McCoy. So let me know down in the comments, what's your one-word reaction to the signing? Usually people can kind of tell how I feel about the deal, about the move, and I do like the move, and I am very excited. However, when I saw the deal go down, that actually wasn't my one-word reaction to the signing. In fact, my one-word reaction was Mo. And for those of you that don't know what I mean Mo Hurst. When I see this deal go down, it makes me wonder, why did the Raiders move on from Mo Hurst? Like, why is he no longer on this team? I'd even make the argument that he was the best defensive tackle on this roster last year. Not that I'm not excited about McCoy, but if we're right now looking and we're in the middle of August looking for a DT, why not just keep the guy who was one of the best players on our roster last season? So as it stands right now, we got Solomon Thomas, who we signed on a 1-year, $5 million deal. Jonathan Hankins is a solid run stopper. Quentin Jefferson's been playing a lot of that 3 technique in training camp, but also Thomas Jefferson and Darius Philon, they've been kind of working in and out for that 3 technique role. If you don't know what the 3 tech is in a defensive tackle, you got to think about they have 2 DTs lining up. One guy lines right over the center. The 3 technique kind of lines up to the outside in between the tackle and the guard. That's where Solomon Thomas was trying to work. I talked about this a little bit earlier in the week here on the Raiders Report about how there was multiple reports out that Thomas is too small, and the Raiders right now are a little bit worried about his ability to be a defensive tackle, which is why you're starting to see him get a little bit more work on the outside where he can be a rusher. As soon as I saw that report, I was like, okay, the Raiders originally wanted to have an extra DT. Remember, they got rid of David Irving. That was an absolute nightmare. And now you're sitting there saying, well, maybe now they go out and find a veteran defensive tackle out there, which is exactly what they did here with McCoy. Now, he's been a rotational guy in the 3 tech so far in camp. One of the reasons why Thomas, and it's why I'm still excited that Thomas is going to play with us. Like, I'm not trying to shape that in any different way. One of the reasons why Thomas wanted to play with us is because It reminded him a lot of the scheme that he ran at Stanford. But maybe he doesn't have still a lot of that juice that we were hoping that he had because he's coming off that ACL injury, which he suffered in week 2. But and to be a successful defense, I'll say, in a Gus Bradley system, you need to have depth at the defensive tackle position. Why? Usually, Gus Bradley defenses don't blitz a lot. Over the last 4 years, bottom 5 in blitz rate. So now when you look at the depth chart, you got Solomon Thomas, you got Quentin Jefferson, you're going to have Gerald McCoy, Jonathan Hankins. Will Kendall Vickers make the team? Will Darius Stills make the team? Bottom line, even a guy like Darius Philon, you have so many more bodies where you're going to have this team inserting DTs in and out of the lineup, which really should help guys like Cleveland Furrow, guys like Max Crosby, guys like Yannick Ngakoue help get after the quarterback. So when you look at McCoy's career, he's bounced around of late. 2010 to 2018 is really when I think of like the best McCoy years, where he was just dominating the defensive football with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then he went to the Carolina Panthers. They named him a captain his very first year. Then he went to the Cowboys in 2020. Never played because of that torn quad, so ended up leaving there. And now he's sitting here with the Las Vegas Raiders. But over the last 3 seasons, we sit here all the time and, we kind of nitpick at the DBs and the secondary, and don't get me wrong, they deserve to get nitpicked at. However, one of the biggest areas that this team needs to be able to improve upon is being able to get after the quarterback. And McCoy, being a defensive tackle, has actually been able to do that throughout his entire career. Now, this is 2016 to 2013. We're probably not going to get the young, joyful, juiceful McCoy that we once had. But over the last few seasons, when he's still been healthy, he's actually been pretty productive. So I don't care if 2020 he didn't play. Go watch him at over 30 years old still be a reliable defensive tackle with the Carolina Panthers. And if he has that juice, if he can also come in and put a lot of these younger players underneath his wing, that's really going to help this team. And if you can have another player coach on your team, I'm telling you what right now, I am really going to end up liking this move. So do it right now. Grade the signing of Gerald McCoy. I want you to go A, B, C, D, or F down in the comments section. If this is like the very first time you've ever come across the Raiders Report video, we are a channel based on interaction. Now, believe me, I've hung out with a lot of Raider fans in my day, and I'm probably going to sit here and say that this grade is probably around a B, honestly. But when I really think about McCoy and how he's going to be able to help out this team, I am going to sit here and I'm going to type my B. Now, I'm usually a little bit of a tougher grader. A is an excellent move. B is above average. C is average. D is bad. F is failing. But what I love about the nation is honesty. And I'm looking on Twitter right now. It's kind of a mixed bag between people are excited, people aren't excited. The next question that's really going to be brought up that I'm definitely going to talk about tomorrow on my Raiders Report show, and remember, daily videos 100% free, is what does this mean for the 53-man roster? What defensive tackles are going to end up making this team? Because everything that I hear, everything that I see, I personally believe that there's a lock for Quentin Jefferson. It's a lock for Solomon Thomas. It's a lock for Jonathan Hankins. And then this is where the water gets a little bit more murky. Maybe I had a few drinks before I left work. But no, it's going to be between Gerald McCoy. It's going to be between Darius Stills, Darius Philon, and then even somebody like Kendall Vickers. So that's 4 defensive tackles potentially battling it out for the last 2 positions. No disrespect to Niles Scott. Haven't heard too many good reports thus far, but there's just a lot more depth. Darius Stills was a player that I really liked, the UDFA out of West Virginia. He had a lot of players talking about how he had good twitch, but he was a dude that wasn't able to participate early on in training camp, was dealing with some injuries. Maybe this is why you see a coaching staff go out and add a veteran that they could potentially rely upon. Darius Philon looked really good with Gus Bradley in previous years, but he's still a little bit of an unknown commodity. What you have in McCoy is a healthy McCoy. That was actually one of the biggest reasons why, when he came on his visit today, which is August 4th, the biggest reason why the Raiders signed him as quick as they did, he was motivated and he was in shape. We've seen how many times this entire offseason the Raiders have brought guys in and then they have left without signing a deal. The reason why that this team was so confident in signing McCoy as early and as quickly as they did was because he came in shape. He passed all the physicals. He passed all the medical checks as well, and that was a big, big sign for the Raiders. So what you're going to get from a veteran here, he's going to work his freaking tail off. All the teammates that I've ever heard talk about McCoy, I mean, there's multiple quotes popping up right now on my Twitter feed about he's just one of the hardest working dudes, and, we always kind of joke around with Gruden how he wants that Gruden grind, or how he wants somebody that's going to be the first one there, last one to leave. That's what you're going to get in Gerald McCoy. But what's, again, going to be interesting here is how the whole 53-man roster ends up shaking out. And if I had to put my 2 cents on it, I'm going to anticipate where you see a lot of McCoy over the next week. You're going to see a lot of people covering him, me included, and seeing how he's doing on the training camp field, how he looks in first, maybe even second-team defense, and then what preseason's going to look like. Because, y'all, preseason's right around the corner. Their very first game is on August 14th against the Seattle Seahawks. I'll be live for that. Make sure you're watching that. But this could actually come down to a situation where if he plays well in the preseason, he plays well in the training camp, he could actually end up making that 53-man roster, which then kind of leaves out some of these other players that have been playing very well. And if I'm going to trust my gut, it kind of sounds like right now Phylon has been getting a little bit more work than Vickers, has been getting a little bit more work even than somebody like Darius Stills, and could end up making the team. So will Gerald McCoy make the 53-man roster? I want you to go down in the comments section right now. I want you to type Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. And I know I got a lot of different people here already hitting me up, and remember, guys, if you want to hit me up on IG, you know where to do it. Will Gerald McCoy make the 53-man roster? Type Y for yes or N for no. I'm going to be a little bit bold. I'm going to be a little bit ballsy, and if you're a loyal watcher, I'm going to give it 3 Chucky heads. I'm going to say that it's pretty likely. If you want to let me know how many Chucky heads y'all think it's going to end up being on McCoy making the team, please go ahead and do so. But McCoy, he is now the newest member of the Las Vegas Raiders, so that's pretty exciting news for me. Also, I'm trying to think of the player, and I'm scrambling here because I'm trying to pull up something, but the Raiders also signed an offensive lineman. He was a former third-round pick. He actually played on the Denver Broncos before, but for whatever reason, man, his name is just absolutely escaping me right now. But one of the things that we predicate ourselves here on the Raiders Report and at Chat Sports is being able to keep you guys up to date with the latest news and rumors. So if you made it this far in the video, seriously, hit that subscribe button, share this video on Facebook, share it on Twitter. All right, so it's Jeremiah Potassi, I believe is how you pronounce the name. So shout out to producer Sam for going home, coming back into the office so we could end up filming this video. I want every single person from Raider Nation to spam Sam down in the comments, because if it wasn't for him, y'all, I wouldn't have been able to make a video today. Now, if you see anything that confused you on today's show, if you want to talk to me about the Gerald McCoy signing, hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. Shit, I might even go live tonight. I don't know. I'm hyped. We're getting back really, really close to the season, and if you're excited as I am for the Raiders signing Gerald McCoy, I want you to go ahead and like the vid.